Imagine this. You're prepping Thanksgiving dinner the night before when one of your stove knobs breaks off. Stores are already closed for tonight, but you need a new one by tomorrow to complete your perfect meal. What can you do? You can 3D print one. 3D printing for personal use has grown more and more popular over the last few years. People have used it in every situation from simple household repairs to great creations. I personally have printed close to 50 different objects. Today I'd like to give you a brief overview of 3D printing, including the components of the 3D printer, the components of the print itself, and the various applications of the 3D printing. To understand 3D printing, you must first understand its main components and how they work. While a 3D printer is fairly simple in design, each component is crucial to creating the perfect print. Dictionary.com defines 3D printing as making a printing process that involves making three-dimensional objects from digital models by applying many thin layers of quick drying material on top of each other. First, we must understand that a 3D printer moves precisely using motors. These motors are specialized to rotate as needed. A 3D printer is a computer numeric control device, also known as CNC, which means that the computer tells the extruder exactly where to move. The extruder comes next, which contains a cold end and a hot end. Taylor Landry, a member of Matter Hackers, the company that creates 3D printer filament, says the extruder is one of the most important components of a 3D printer. After the filament or plastic ink is pushed through the cold end, it enters the hot end, the most important part of the printer where it is melted. This part governs the maximum heat that can be applied, which determines what materials you can use. Going back to our stove knob example, you would need an extruder capable of heating a more durable material since the stove knob would be around heat. Last is the print bed, or where our creation comes together. Depending on the size of your 3D printer, the print bed, or where your product is being printed onto, can range in size from 120 millimeters to 500 millimeters. According to Richard Bagley, a writer for a technology website, Tom's Guide, this means you can print anything from custom salt and pepper shakers to homemade replacements for hard-to-find parts. Now that we understand the components of the 3D printer, let's look at the components of the 3D print. There are a few parameters you must consider and set before printing to make the perfect... Start over.